I don't care if I saw you in a magazine.
I am back. What it do, baby?
Oh, baby, I need a freak. Lick it like ice cream, as if you mean to be disgusting.
It's your boy Sunny Frames in the motherfucking building, Mr. 365 coming in live. Ooh wee, let's get 'em.
Let y'all know, stop, put some respect on my name. You understand me? Y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
Y'all already know what time it is. It's your boy Fuzzy Vision, trying to see the world clear one day at a time. And you know what time it is. Far From Normal Podcast, baby. What it do, Sonny?
Damn!
We here, we gon' get this motherfucking party started. Jeez, shout out to Burna Boy, doing this thing, West Africa stand up. Let's get it. Alright, y'all already know what time it is. It's the Far From Normal Bros, and we back at it again. First of all, I'm gonna need you to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a mother effing friend to follow and subscribe to your boys. We on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other podcast platforms as well. You can catch us on YouTube, TikTok. That's Far From Normal Podcast. Make sure you type that into the search engine and search up your boys. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the content, because we keep dropping that new content, baby. You know what time it is. You already know. You can find us also on the gram. That's at far_from_podcast _normal_podcast. Make sure you check that out.
Say that one more time.
At far_from_normal_podcast. You already know. That's on the gram. And you can check our website, www.farfromnormalpodcast.com. Make sure we got all those visual there. We got all our links there. Check out your boys. You already know it's your boy Fuzzy Vision with 2 N's at the end of Vision. If you have any likes, dislikes, rebuttals, or want to be on the podcast, hit your boy up. Sonny, let him know what the handle is, baby.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Sunny Frames. You can catch me on the gram, Sunny SONNY Frames, double S at the end. Make sure when you go on my gram, check out my stories. And I stress my stories because I post a lot of things that has to do with great men in this world and what they've achieved in a lifetime. And usually that has to deal with motivation, inspiration, chasing their dream, and execution. That's the most important thing when chasing your dream. Don't allow it to just remain in dream world. Make sure you make it become a reality and execute. Fuzzy, let's get 'em.
Alright. Y'all already know So Far From Normal Bros, and we back, baby. First of all, we have to shout out the first and last time listeners, those that have been listening and supporting us from day one. Shout out to you. All those that have been on the podcast that gave us their time and effort to come on the podcast, give us great content. Shout out to y'all as well. Y'all already know what we do it for. We're trying to make you far from normal, trying to make you better than average, you know, thrive for the best, try to be the best you can be. And that's what we do. Sonny, what do you got to say on the matter?
Same thing. I would definitely want to thank all the guests that have come in and, you know, put their input in Far From Normal Podcast, telling their stories. I want to thank friends and family for tuning in weekly for every episode that we put out there. And I just want to thank the old listeners as well as the new listeners, that whoever told them about our podcast and now they're listening to it and they're enjoying it. I definitely want to thank you for joining our journey, and hopefully you could stick around and see how far this rabbit hole goes. And that's all I got to say about this. Now we're going to get this episode started. Fuzzy, let's kick this baby off.
All right. So we're going to jump right into the topic today. And today's going to be a good one. Today we're going to talk about bottle service. And is it worth it? So the question today is going to be, is bottle service worth it? Ladies and gentlemen, we all club. We've all been to the club.
Oh, yeah.
But the big question is bottle service really worth the price? That's the real question.
City boy!
So I want to talk.
We're talking about the city boys.
Yes, we're talking. This shout out to all the city boys out here. So we're talking to all the gentlemen that are out here going to clubs and seeing the difference of guys that have bottle service compared to guys that do not have bottle service. So first of all, I want to talk about the club industry. So we've been going to clubs since we were in our teenage years.
Yeah, 100%.
We've been clubbing and many things have changed. So when it comes to bottle service, when we were younger, obviously that wasn't a thing because people didn't have to buy bottles in order to enjoy at the club. So I want you first to talk about how things change from you clubbing in your younger days and then you as a adult clubbing.
Well, I think the pressure when you're younger is not so apparent just because everybody knows that you don't have money. So typically what the club promoters would do is they'll set up events, right? Where you would have enough to save up money for the ticket just to go to the event. And then from there, you just got to pay for a couple of drinks. And we're not talking about alcohol because we're not at that age at that point in time when you're clubbing. Because I started clubbing when I was 15 years old. So some people start early because with fake IDs and stuff of that nature, some people start really early. And then they have a lot of club scenes that were all ages. I don't think they do that these days. Now I don't think nowadays there's that scene where there's all ages, but back in those times there were all ages, so those events would happen a few times in the year.
Well, not to interrupt you, but I want to start from your adulthood. So
okay, because I thought we were going backwards.
Well, I want to start from at least the beginning of your adulthood. So the time that you're going to clubs where alcohol is accessible.
Okay.
So I want you to tell me the difference from the early stages because obviously time has passed.
Yeah.
A lot of time has passed since you were 18.
Yes.
So I want you to look at that point. So say even 18 to 24, and then look at past that age what the expectation was. As a man going to the club.
Well, I would say from 18 to 24, the thing about the club is a lot of men would find ways of finessing their way to getting alcohol in the sense that they would rather get drunk outside of the club before they even enter the club. So you would definitely have pre-drinking at one of your friend's house, and then from there, once you have your buzz and you actually end up going to the club, you're ready to go. You don't need to drop any money when it comes down to going to the bar and getting more drinks because they raise the price on all of the drinks anyways. So
Got him! Got him!
So most of the time, a lot of people would just not buy drinks at that point in time because again, we're just scraping along. We're trying to do the best that we can with the little money that we have. So we got to preserve our money to the best of our abilities, and we got to find tactics and ways and be smart about how we're going to have a good time. We got to budget, we got to be economically friendly. And that's what we did in order to, go into these club environments and have a good time. What about you, Fuzzy? How did you cope with that 18 to 24 years of age when it came to going to the club?
I would say from 18 to 24, it's significantly different. So basically when you go to the club, when you're now just 18, 19, whenever, legal age is for you to go to the club, you're usually coming out of college or university.
Yeah.
So things are a lot cheaper. You're going to college campuses, having little parties there. And then when you would actually go to the actual club, like you said, you would think of clever ways to save money because going to the club wasn't about trying to signal that you have wealth. It was more so to experience, adults in a club environment because, you're just getting into the adult realm. So now you're around people of your age, older, people of different economic levels, different standings in life and all that. And you're going there for the music and you're going there for the vibes. You want to see what it's like. You watch all these movies of people drinking, partying, doing drugs, whatever the case may be. You want to partake in that. But when you're younger, you obviously most likely don't have those resources to, be spending on bottles and bottle service and do all those things that you see maybe more grown men doing because your pockets, aren't on that level, not yet, of course.
Just not that deep yet, yeah.
They're not that deep, and your mentality isn't there yet because you're still naive. You don't understand, where the value of having a bottle service in a club, what that would look like and what that would mean. So you just go to the club in order to meet women, chill with your boys, dance to the music, whatever the case may be. And it's not really your primary focus on the status that goes along with that. That's what I'd say when I was definitely younger. Most of the time you're there to pick up women. And that would just be one-on-one situations where you approach, a girl that you think is cute, that looks good. And you spit your game. You talk your shit. You try and get her number. You try and be flirtatious. Whatever the case is, you get your shit done, and that's how that goes. But after that point of college days and partying like that, and like you said, pre-drinking, you're more inclined to save money. So you'd pre-drink before you get to the club. All you need is buy one more drink just to hold, just to have something in your hand. This is for the drinkers, of course. People that don't drink wouldn't acknowledge this fact, but again, you do that when you're younger. Now, if you're looking at current times, and at this point, clubs have changed so much, and I think that's due to social media. I think that say 10 years ago, social media wasn't such a factor, and clubs didn't promote as much bottle service. I think that nowadays you hit the club and it's predicated for you to get bottle service, or you won't experience or enjoy that club as you should.
Got him! Got him!
So with that being said, you're not enjoying the club as you should, in the sense that it comes with a lot more things that you have to pay attention to when you're older. So for example, when you're younger, you're okay with waiting in a line for the club because you understand maybe the exclusivity of it, and
it doesn't bother you.
It doesn't bother you to do that. But as you get older, you start to realize that you have to wait in this line if you don't have a bottle service, or if you don't know someone at the club. You understand that when you get into the club and say you don't have bottle service or anything, you might just be crowded up shoulder to shoulder, bumping into people, trying to get to the bar that's completely jam-packed with others that are trying to get a drink as well. So there's no convenience to it as you get older.
So what you're trying to say is now it's become more elitism and exclusivity, where certain people have their corner, they have certain luxuries and get to move around freely, but it's due to the premium that they're paying for.
Absolutely. It's due to the premium price they're paying and what the club is selling, and obviously that's that elitism, that VIP party experience, exclusive premium drinks, of course, a bottle girl that will come serve your table, bring you your bottles.
Funny thing is, these bottle girls don't always do such a good job in terms of serving their clientele when you're at the booth, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But the point of the bottle service, and why it changes when you get older is because your patience is less. Of course, when you go to a club, you want to have certain accommodations. You don't want to have to wait in a line outside.
Course.
You don't want to have to, again, be crowded to go to the bar just to get one drink. You don't want people bumping your drink on you, spilling it all over the place. You want some space to move around.
Yeah.
And even in terms of picking up girls, when you are outside of a booth or a situation that's a little bit isolated, how could you really talk to anyone? How could you really, pick up any women? And a lot of men go to clubs to pick up women.
Yes.
So you want to optimize your ability to pick them up. So when it comes to bottle service, yes, there's a high price to it, but really men should consider, when they go out, what is it they want to gain from going to the club? Do they want access to exclusivity? Do they want more access to women? Do they want more comfortability there? Do they care about their time, especially like line bypass and stuff like that? So I think those are the considerations you have when you get older.
So I think personally, picking up women at the club is not the best choice of where to pick up women. Now, if we're talking about outside of the club, you have a better bet. You have a better option of picking up girls outside of the club rather than being inside the club because of this elitism narrative that they're trying to push within the club. When you don't actually have the resources, or you just don't see the logic in paying for a booth in order to, you know, have this VIP treatment and also paying for pricey drinks, and then on top of that you got to pay for the bottle service girl that is going to be serving you all night, although that she probably was serving you prior. Because the thing is, when I say serving you prior, the thing is now a lot of lounges have turned into clubs. Ever since COVID hit, they started realizing not too many people are going to the club nowadays. Now they're going to a lounge / bar. So that's what's typically what's going on today. So they're turning a dining experience to a club experience right after a certain hour of the day. So in that, the same woman that probably would have been serving you earlier on in the day now gets a premium tip off because now they're serving you a drink. They never change their uniform or anything. They could be just in the exact same uniform, but now they get a premium payout because they're doing bottle service. Yet you've already paid for the pricey bottle and you paid for the table because the table is not cheap either. So it's kind of weird in that sense where the benefit comes, because it's not like you paying for a bottle service and the table brings you the women at the same time. You still have to earn your right to get those women. Like, that's a whole different ball game. That has nothing to do with everything else that you've already did.
Okay, so I'll rebuttal that.
Oh, okay.
So, like you said, of course, you having a bottle service doesn't, guarantee that you're gonna get women. But what it does is it provides a better opportunity, and I think that's where bottle service makes sense to certain guys. And if you have it, you can spend it. So I think men that have the resources to spend on bottle service, this makes sense mainly for them. Now, for men that don't have those resources, it makes sense if it's for an occasion, big group, birthday parties, these type of things, because you might be willing to spend the price for the enjoyment, for the exclusivity, for the picture taking, for all the moments that you can capture, especially in a VIP area, because of course with bottle service comes the theatrics that come with that. Of course, you're gonna get a bottle service girl and she's gonna be dressed provocatively. She's gonna come around your group. You can take pictures with her.
Yeah.
You can do all type of stuff to increase your value, especially perception wise. We have Instagram nowadays, so when people do these things, it's not like they're undocumented.
Yes,
we're all recording what we're doing, so we all can look back and say, I did that. So nowadays, you going to the club and popping bottles and getting bottle service is more of a flex to everybody. It's not just a flex to the club no more. And this is why I'm saying why bottle service now has become more prevalent in clubs, because they're starting to realize that not only are you getting to experience a VIP in the club and stun on people in the club, you get to stun on people on your Instagram. You get to stun on people on your social media accounts, because it shows some type of importance even to those that are just watching your Instagram story. They're like, damn, like if you've seen someone at bottle service all the time, well, if it's a woman, it'll be, a little, you have a different opinion of her. But if you see a guy in bottle service all the time, you're thinking, well, you might think he's a scammer or something, or he's a baller, one or the other, right? So point of the matter is, he's going to get some type of prestige with posting these things online, as well as just being in the club. Whether he got girls at that club at that time would be irrelevant if he can leverage the video footage and that experience and use that in order to lure other women from outside of the club. That might be a strategy in itself. So I think that it's multifaceted now, and that's why bottle service is huge and
big business.
Why men spend, because I'm telling you right now, bottle service can cost you upwards of an upcharge of upwards to 1,000%. You're talking about whatever the bottle cost is that's like 500% more than what the ticket price is at the store. You know, and then even just the table itself, you're paying a real premium price to get these perks. So the real question is that worth it? And that's where I'm trying to figure out. So to you, would you say that's something worth it? Do you think that spending that type of money, ultimately you can get some type of return from it?
I think you get more of a loss than a gain from it. But it depends on the individual and what they're actually into and what they're trying to get out of it. If they're trying to get footage out of it and they're trying to promote a lifestyle, maybe that will be suitable for them, because if they use social media, those outlets that you're talking about, to promote maybe their business, or just they could be some kind of life coach, or they could definitely leverage it in ways that can be beneficial to their business if they're in that lifestyle business, right? So, but at the same time, there's people that aren't doing that. There's people that aren't on social media. There's people that are just kind of living their life and they just want the experience for just having the experience. Would I say that's financially a smart decision to make? No. For me, personally, that's not a smart decision. But for somebody else, who am I to say if it's a smart decision for them or if it isn't? Because I don't know. Maybe they were saving up for this one moment, and that's what they wanted to do, and that was part of their bucket list. So they did it, and they're happy. They're happy with it. But I wouldn't personally get involved with the whole bottle service and in a booth situation unless I can leverage it within my business, or it's part of some plan that I have in terms of networking, or I got clients that I'm taking out and trying to give them a good experience. But there has to be a strategy behind it for me to make it work and to make it something worth having.
I think that's the thing where people get it mixed up. Like for bottle service, there's definitely benefits to having bottle service. You just have to know, you know, you don't have to. Okay, some people spend money to spend money. I mean, you got people that have it like that, so they can spend money how they want. They can be, you know, very frivolous with their money. They can spend it on whatever they want. You know, buying bottles, whether they drink the bottles or not, whether they get women or not, whether they get recognition or not. That's not what they're there for. They're there because that's, you know, what they like. That's what they want to do when they get to the club. So those type of gentlemen, like I said, do what you have to do. If that's, you know, what your expectations are when you get to the club and you don't want to deal with hassles, I mean, my hat's off to you. Do what you have to do and leverage that situation how you want to leverage it. But generally speaking, I would say for most individuals, bottle service is something that, you know, is pricey. It's one of those things pricey, that if you're gonna go do it, you probably want to have a big group behind you. You probably want to do it on an occasion, in my opinion, instead of just doing it as a casual thing. And I also believe that you shouldn't think bottle service will, you know, get you more women. What it will do is it will bring more eyes to you. It will definitely bring more, you know, inquiry about you. People will want to know who you are and what it is you do. But at the end of the day, when you lead like that, that's pretty much leading with your wallet. You're saying that, you know, this is what you make. This is the lifestyle you live.
So you make yourself a target.
You make yourself a target. And if women decide to go after you for the wrong reasons, that's on you because of the perception you gave to them, right? So like I said, if you're at a club popping bottles and you're spending, you know, thousands of dollars at the club, then you want to take a girl on a date and she's been seeing that. And now all of a sudden you decide you want to be cheap or you want to be frugal with the money, she's gonna call that out. She's 100%. Gonna see that and be like, wait,
she should too.
And yes, because you set the precedent. So just men should understand this. You set the precedent for what you can expect out of the women, of how you attract certain women. So through VIPs and bottle service, how you attract the women is obviously through the money that you're spending. So now when you're with that woman, she's expecting that level of treatment, VIP, princess treatment. So men that do that have to live up to those expectations, or, you know, they might not get the same results, I would say. So they might, like I said, you get eyes on you. You might have people inquiring about you. But will that ultimately mean you're going to get to your goal of, you know, maybe picking up women or getting with women? Because ultimately picking up women is one thing. But of course you want to close the deal. It is what it is for the ladies listening. But men want to close the deal.
Well, that's the whole purpose of even getting bottle service, to be quite honest. It's about closing the deal. It's about getting as much women as you can possibly get. And you're using bottle service as a way of leveraging your capability in terms of your financial capability.
Absolutely.
Right? You're trying to definitely set the precedence that you are a man of value. You're a guy that has what it takes to take a woman to the next level and provide the lifestyle that they're looking for. So definitely, women, you got to be aware of that, and I'm pretty sure you are. And if you're not, well, we just gave you a nugget right there.
Exactly. And I just wanted to talk about, you know, women in this whole topic of bottle service, because obviously bottle service is something that men typically are, it's promoted typically to men. So of course, when women go to clubs, it's very different. Like if you're a beautiful woman, I'll say,
yes,
you most likely aren't paying to get into the club you're at. Drinks are free on the house because men are going to you know, want to buy you drinks and want to loosen you up and also gain favor. So
you also have to talk about what they really need to get done. Is like you should also even talk about their main objective is to have the outfit.
Yeah, so yeah, it's exactly.
And talk about that aspect of it too.
So we'll talk about that. Where for women now, they don't need to worry about paying to get into bottle service. But in a woman's mind, and I'm not speaking for all women, we're speaking generally. So I'll go off the women I've spoke to, and obviously an anecdotal situation. But a lot of women that I've spoken to, they go to the club and dress a certain way to obviously attract the most valuable guy in the club.
100%.
You know, sometimes they go out for themselves, sometimes they go out to party with their girls. But if you're thinking about single women that go out to the club with their girls, single girlfriends, and that are looking for men, they're looking for the best. They're not looking for your average run of the mill.
I was gonna say, I personally believe that as long as a woman's single, as much as they can say that I came out here just to hang with my girls and just to have a good time, I don't necessarily believe that. I believe if you find that Prince Charming, or if you find a guy that kind of represents what you're looking for in a man, and he ends up approaching you, you're gonna be open to it.
Absolutely. Women are gonna maybe cap and say whatever they want to say, but ultimately they know what it is they're there for and what they're doing to get to that point.
Yes.
But again, with the women, now they understand when they go to clubs that they want to get in for free. They want to have access to bottle service because they're surely not gonna pay for these things.
100%.
Right? And with that being said, they understand that they're gonna have to, you know, dress a certain way. They're gonna have to present themselves a certain way, just like how the guy that's getting bottle service wants the perception of having status and financial capability. She wants to present herself that she's of high class, high standard. That's why women will get the Louis Vuitton, the Balenciaga, all that type of brands.
The pedicures, the manicures, the
lip injections,
hair done, you know, making sure eyelashes. There's so many different things.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. A lot of things they're doing in order to enhance themselves, in order to
we even talk about
to get shows.
Getting their breasts done.
Well, we don't even need to get into that. We already know BBLs and all the things they do, because again,
makeup and how much the skincare, how much that costs for them to deal.
Yes, and
maybe even fake tans to make it seem like they're on vacation.
The list goes on and on. We'll be all day talking about, you know, what they do in order to prep themselves to get the best.
Yeah.
But again, they understand that the best would be those that have, you know, leverage in those clubs. So they understand that, you know, the best guys in the club for them to get attention from would be guys that have access to boots and bottles, so they can drink for free, so they can enjoy their time, so they don't have to be in a crowded room in a sweaty club, and they can be relaxed. Whether the guys are trying to pick them up or not, that's that's a light issue for them, because even if they're crowded in the club, they would get hounded on far more. So when they're in a comfortable situation, whether they like the men or not, they're more likely to be friendly and forthcoming when it comes to interaction, and easier to talk to, because there's perks and benefits there. They're in a happier state of mind. So men have to also keep that in mind, that when beautiful women go to the club, they're looking for the men that have the resources to make the club experience the best. So just keeping that in mind when you're thinking about whether bottle service is worth it or not, you have to understand that you will attract more eyes to you. You might not be able to close on the women that you get there, but you definitely give yourself more advantage in terms of bringing more eyes to you, or getting women to come join you at your table and enjoy the night together.
So in your opinion, what do you think about bottle service, and would you do bottle service? Have you done it in the past, and what was your experience between doing bottle service in the past and not doing bottle service?
So for me, I'll talk about whether I've done it or not. So
Yeah,
I've done bottle service for birthdays, and my own bottle service, I'll say for a birthday. There's one time I've done bottle service, and other times I've been in many booths and, you know, many occasions, and probably with groups of people I've done bottle service as well. So from my experience in bottle service, it had its perks. It had its, you know, exclusivity to it. It had its private area, you know, your group of friends only, and that type of exclusivity. And I enjoyed it for what it was. Now, would I indulge in something like that? No, because I don't got it like that, and nor would I if I did have it like that, because again, it would have to have some benefit to me. I wouldn't just spend money to spend money and to say that I got it. So it's just, to me, spending that excessive money at the club is not beneficial. It's more blowing money, and it's more of trying to stunt and flex. But if you ask me in the future, if I were to like party and go to clubs, I think I do consider whether I have bottle service or not. I do consider whether I know somebody or not that would have a bottle service, because don't. So at this point, at this stage of my life, I'm not going to, you know, wait in lines and you know, be a general admission person at the club, because for me, I've done that throughout the years, and I understand, you know, I don't enjoy the club sometimes as much because it's more superficial, these clubs. A lot of the times the club is mainly booths. So if you're not in a booth, you're just crowded up in a smaller area and walking around with your drink in your hand, and you're noticing all the more prettier women are taken, and they're in people's booths, or they came with other people. So you understand that your options are limited, and you still have to pay cover to get in the club. So everything doesn't make sense, from waiting in the line, paying cover as a guy, because men always have to pay to get into clubs, just to figure out that you're not even the top dog in that club. And drop the buzzer on that, boy.
Got him! Got him!
You need to drop the buzzer, because again, where's the benefit? Where's the benefit? So for me, if it would come to bottle service and I'm going to a club for an occasion, for sure I'd be considering bottle service. If it wasn't an occasion and I was just casually going, not having too much expectations, I won't worry about bottle service. But at this stage in my life, if I don't know somebody and they don't got bottle service, I probably ain't there.
See, it's funny that you say that, because I feel the same way in terms of, if I were to go to the club or a specific lounge, it's only to the places that I know people at, because your experience is pretty trash when you don't know anybody at certain places, because there's no perks that come with you going to certain places. You're just going to be paying regular coverage. You're going to be paying the regular fees on the drinks that you're drinking, and that can add up. And the thing is, I see that to be kind of not necessary. I don't think it's necessary for you to buy multiple drinks for you to get drunk. For what exactly is the plan of you getting drunk in order to speak to a woman or try to get her to come home with you? Like, I think you have to take into consideration, what is it that you're getting so drunk about? Sometimes when you get super drunk, you don't even remember the spot that you were at and what exactly you were doing there, because that gets all clouded by your intoxication. So even if you thought you were having a good time, it could have been a shitty time that you had there, and you could have made a fool out of yourself and made a fool out of your friends, because now we're in a world where social media rules the day and cameras are on every phone. So typically people would be videotaping you if you're behaving like a fool. And that's just normal, because they want to have a laugh. They want to have memories. They want to archive certain things that they feel is entertaining at your own expense. So you got to take that into consideration when you go into places and you decide to, get heavily intoxicated, because I understand you're trying to get a bang for your buck. It's like, well, if I'm already in here, I might as well try and have as much fun as possible. But sometimes having fun doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be excessively intoxicated. So there's other ways to have fun. And as I was saying, the point that I was really trying to hammer home was that the only way I would typically go to a club in this day and age is if I know people in that industry at that specific club, at that specific lounge, because over there, you're not treated as the regular degulars. And I don't want to be treated as the general admission. I want to have VIP treatment, but in a different way. I don't necessarily need to spend my way through it. Just I can leverage my relationships and my networking abilities, and then go from there and have a good time without that excessive financial burden of paying for this and that and not really getting what I wanted. I can have a good time without doing all of that.
That's absolutely true, and that's what I realized is getting older. I can have a good time without all of that, and again, you leverage your relationships. Your relationships. If you know people in that industry and you can get into places, because we know people and we can get into certain places, and we find that we enjoy ourselves best with people we know at certain venues, people that, will vouch for us or treat us well when we go there. And that's the biggest thing you're looking for. Is unfortunately, when you go to clubs and you're not paying the bottle service, you're not treated as well.
100%.
So if you're not treated as well, your experience is going to be lacking. And why would you want to go back to that establishment to understand that, you're just a little fish in a big pond?
And also you got to take into account the type of females that go to these establishments. They're, I would say, pretentious, a lot of them, and superficial,
just like
right?
I said, like when I was mentioning how the women, they're in their head when they go to clubs, they're looking for the top dog.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously women have to be vying for the best guy.
And this is why I said that going to the club and picking up women at the club is not your best bet, especially when you're older. When you're younger, it's a lot different because people aren't competing on bottle service.
Absolutely.
So
attraction
is what rules the day in your younger years. But as you get older, what rules the day is if you're in bottle service or you're at VIP, women are looking at more of the superficial things, and that's what they gravitate towards. It doesn't matter if you're a jerk or you're an asshole. All that stuff doesn't matter. They want to have that feeling of being special. So they'll put up with your shenanigans and behavior in order to get that VIP treatment. So even if you treat them like shit, not all guys are going to treat them like shit, but I'm just saying if they have that type of behavior and they feel and they have this sense of arrogance, the women won't mind it because they get to have that experience of being in a VIP situation, and they can get as much drinks as they want. They can actually turn up, have a good time, and then have space within the booth area that they're in to dance if they want to dance without guys groping them or trying to grab them to have a dance. They can dance with their girls and also have the validation from men that are outside the booth watching them, gawking at them. And man, can I get a buzzer? Can I get a goddamn buzzer for that? Jesus Christ. There we go. Right on cue.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, it comes with a lot of perks. And again, if you're into that lifestyle, by all means, hit up the clubs, get the bottle service. Like we mentioned, we said exactly what pros come with that. And we mentioned what cons come with that as well. So again, is bottle service worth it? If you ask me, it's worth it on occasions if you know people at the club and you understand what it is you're getting into. You got the money for it and you're willing to spend it, and that's how I see it. If you understand what you're getting yourself into, I think it could be worth it on occasion. But it's one of those things where, you know, the club is only one place you can go to. There's so much other venues you can go to in order to enjoy yourself. So is the bottle service worth it? To me, I probably would say no overall, because what you would spend in bottle service probably would be equivalent to a vacation, equivalent to, you know, maybe trying to learn a skill, maybe get a camera, maybe start a podcast. These type of things cost money and you're burning it at the club. So for me, if you ask me, I'm a smart individual. I wouldn't be spending my money at the club like that.
So economically, it's not a smart choice to make. So in terms of spending money on bottle service, I don't think it's the smartest decision to make. And personally, I wouldn't make that decision. As for other people, they may think otherwise. But then again, there's other ways you can leverage bottle service when it comes to making content or adding that to your business, or for networking purposes, or bringing a client to have a good time and have a good experience. So in certain senses, I would say bottle service can be applied to something greater, but financially it's still a strain. Even when you're doing it for networking purposes or for clients, you're still going to come out of pocket. And
like I said, upwards of 1,000%.
Yeah, 100%
from the value of what
100%. So you do have to understand what you're getting involved with when you decide to go down that road. You would rather actually have people you know that's in that spot where you could get a discount at least for the bare minimum, because I mean, if you're paying just the normal cost that other people would pay for bottle service, it doesn't make sense financially. So I'm never gonna agree with it being a smart decision to make economically. But again, you know, everybody's different.
One thing I'll say, disclaimer.
Yeah.
Like, watch out for these bottle services. A lot of these guys know people at the club. They're not paying the same prices you're paying. You're getting finessed.
That too, because we do work in the industry, so we understand how that works. So sometimes what happens is guys come in and they work for the actual the venue. And what they typically do is they'll have a certain amount of bottles that they can get for their booth wherever they're sitting, and they can have a certain amount of guests. Those guys, the deal is they have to bring a certain amount of people in, a certain amount of women to make the venue look good, but they're in cahoots with one another. But a lot of people don't know that, so we're just giving you a little gem right there.
Especially promoters, you guys don't get fooled. Again, stop watching other people's pockets, stop paying attention to other people, because you don't know how they got the money, you don't know what their situation is and their standing is at the club. So sometimes you think you're playing on an equal footing, but you're not.
Exactly.
And that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. And I think we're going to end it off on that note. And this is Far From Normal Podcast with your boy Sonny Frames
and your boy Fuzzy Vision,
and we are out. Deuces.
So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Come on. Make way for the bad guy. There's a bad guy coming through. Better get out of his way.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You scared coward. You not man enough to fuck with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world.
Have future here. You don't have future. You can never make it. You're supposed to be a dinner man, serving dinner to the students in the secondary school.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.